So I find myself in situations lately that can potentially compromise, have the potential of potentially compromising my integrity. So what I've been doing is making sure that I fortify myself and put myself in positions where I don't have to. Now, I'm not under any kind of coercion. And what that basically means, and neither are you. And what that basically means is you always have a choice. You always have a choice as to how you want to act and what you want to say. Now, that choice can cost you money, it can cost you relationships. If you have a job, it can get you fired. It has a host of seemingly negative consequences. And the reason I say seemingly is because you have to think about the level of confidence and power that you feel internally when you are true to the truth. Listen, the truth is not necessarily subjective. It's maybe out there somewhere objectively, but I think Peterson says this where he says, you may not know what the truth is, but you know when you're telling an untruth, which means maybe you don't know exactly how to tell the truth, but you know when you're telling a lie. So the best thing that you can do is when you know you're telling that lie to not just not say it. You may not know what the truth is, but just at least don't lie. that's that's one of the titles of his book 12 rules for life. Tell the truth or at least don't lie, because if you don't know what the truth is, at least you know not to lie. And it's interesting because a lot of people put themselves in positions where they want to be willfully blind because they know that if they knew the truth, it would put them in that situation where you would have to make a choice. And that choice, typically in favor of truth, would cost you something that you're hanging on to right now. Now, you gain more on the other side, but what you gain typically is first internal. It's first your own self respect, it's first your own confidence, it's first your own assurance. It's first everything that happens in here before you see anything out there. You may not see anything out there for a while, who knows how long. But the point here is that if you ever feel like you're in that position, the best thing that you can do is really tune into your thoughts and what you're saying and really think about if you are, number one, lying, being actively deceptive, or being misleading, or masking masking some answer with another answer, masking the truth with an answer. So what I mean by that is sales. This is huge, right? In sales, you'll find a lot of organizations out there that have false promises. Not only false promises, sometimes they lie outright. So you have to ask yourself, first of all, if you have your own business, the types of people that you're going to be attracting into your business are going to be all liars if you're hiring people. So essentially, you're a liar. Your organization is filled with liars. Your marketing is all lies. And now you have a bunch of customers that are basically getting tricked into buying your product or service. That's the reality that you're creating. So the real question is, what kind of how would you want to be regarded? Do you want to be somebody who is told the truth from others? Of course you are. You don't want to be lied to. So you have to put yourself in the other person's shoes. If you were them, would you want to speak, to be spoken to the way you are speaking to them if you're being intentionally misleading or manipulative or deceptive with your words? Is that how you would want somebody to regard you? Because they're trying to manage your perceptions and control your behavior. Imagine if everybody did that. Imagine what kind of world that would be. But I think really and truly, what you have to be in touch with is how you feel. Number one, when you do that, when you lie or when you mislead. And number two, how you feel when you tell the truth, even if the outcome is not necessarily favorable in the moment, favorable to whatever outcome you want to achieve. And for most salespeople, that's getting the sale, right? Closing the deal. I'll be very honest with you. You are not a good person if you intentionally deceive somebody or mislead somebody so that they can give you their money. So they're giving up something. They're giving up something so you can give them whatever that product or service is, but that you've communicated to them in such a way where it is misleading, it is deceptive. And the only reason you would say that is because you are trying to hide either parts of yourself, if you're talking about misleading somebody or lying to somebody in a personal context, or in the context of business, you're trying to hide the inadequacies and the weaknesses of your product or your service or what you're offering. So, and when I say you're not a good person, I mean that technically speaking. You're not a good person. Now, the good news here is that you cannot be a good person one day and then be a good person the next day. So this is not a static thing. Just because you're lying, you're not a good person in the moment, but you can be in the next moment. That's the best part about reality, is that every moment is a reset. You have a chance in every single moment to reset your life. And so, have I not been a good person? Of course. Has that happened maybe last week? Of course, you know, because when you're part of an organization and you're communicating in a way that you've been trained to communicate, let's put it that way, and then you do your own research and you find out what you've been taught was actually not true or misleading, then you realize that you're not, that you weren't being a good person, especially if you knew about it or if you had some suspicion. That's called willful blindness. You could know the truth, but you'd prefer not to know the truth, because if you know that if you knew the truth, then that would damage whatever outcome you're trying to attain in the moment. So it would damage the short-term outcome that you want to achieve. And so I was like that. I was thinking, man, this doesn't seem right. I don't know about this. And then I would say, well, okay, let me just continue. That's on me. That's not on anybody else. So fortunately, and you're seeing this in real time, fortunately, I've been going through a lot of research. I've been making a lot of changes. And I will be honest, the way things are being laid out for me right now, I am in a position potentially, first of all, the closing ratio is going to be lower. The reason why is because everything that's purported, not everything, the majority of what's purported is actually untrue, or it's a half truth. And the things that are purported seem amazing. They seem fantastic. We throw out like all these numbers and all these. It's all fucking bullshit. That's what it is. So now I have to figure out, let me just be straight up and see what happens here, because I might be in a position where I'm not going to be in this position much longer for at least one of the offers that I'm on right now. So I think I mentioned in a previous video, I'm a closer right now for two separate offers. And so, and it's good money, man. It's really good. So we'll see what happens. They can keep their fucking dirty money, to be honest with me. To be honest with you, if they want to fire me. Like, I've spoken out on the Slack channel. I've had people reach out to me and tell me, hey, you're asking lethal questions. Like, you're going to get yourself fired with these questions. I'm just seeking the truth. All I'm looking for is what's real, what's true. What are we actually doing? And people are reaching out to me privately, telling me, if you keep talking, they're going to fire you. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just asking questions. I just want to find out, what are we actually doing? What are we actually delivering? And let me say that. So fuck them, bro. If they want to act like that, they can get fucked. So, and I'm not going to go into too much detail right now, but I'm changing my whole pitch. I'm changing everything. I'm changing everything I say, the way I explain things, because like I said, I've been doing my own research. I know what's out there, and I know that everything is a lot more nuanced, and you can't be using words like we can, and this is X amount more than this. And you got to be really careful. You can't just be running your mouth like that. And so I feel better. I feel better. I feel combative. I feel like I'm in a battle, but at least I'm not in a battle with myself, you know? And at least I'll go down swinging. I'm not here gonna hang up my gloves. I'm gonna literally do everything my way, and maybe everything takes a dive. I don't know. I don't know. And perhaps once I figure out a way to be able to communicate all of my points directly, honestly, accurately, but still using tactics as far as the philosophy of sales, principles of sales, the psychology of sales, all of that still applies, but not lying, man, not misleading people, not manipulating their own thoughts, not giving false statistics. Like that isn't sales, that's just lies. That's a piece of shit snake lies. That's what that is. So anyway, that was like a little bit of vent for me, but I feel good about it because I know that at least my soul isn't compromised. That's the only thing you fucking own. None of this shit I own. I don't own any of this. You don't own it all. You don't own anything. And you know this because you see people in society getting thrown in prisons, innocent people. Didn't Mandela end up in prison for what? Did he commit any crimes? Did he commit any violent acts? No, but when he was in there, he had the clothes that the prison gave him, and that's it. The only thing that he had control over was his consciousness and what was going on in his heart. So that's the only thing you own. Everything else is taken away from you. Everything can be taken away from you. Everything is temporal. It's temporary. So the only thing that you have is, you can call it your soul, you can call it your mind, you can call it your consciousness, your free will, you can call it whatever, but that's what you have. And that's closely linked to your integrity and the feeling that you get when you tell a lie. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly the feelings I'm talking about. Feelings of either guilt or shame or regret or some kind of disconnected feeling internally, either in your gut or in your heart. You know it, you're just ignoring it. You know what that is, you're just ignoring it. And you brush it under the rug because we're just so used to communicating in such a way in society where everything is couched in little white lies, a little white lie here and a little white lie there. And then everything becomes corrupted and everything becomes fucked. So that's my little rant for today. I don't know what you want to make of this, but it's midnight right now. So I'll kill it there. Happy Friday, and I'll see you soon.